What's up guys, it's Prime Rick here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. And in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys the Transformers War for Cybertron Covert Agent Ravage and Generation 1 Ravage. So here is both figures out of the packaging and the packaging in the back. And first of all we will just take a look at the packaging. And first of all you can see this amazing artwork in the back. This was where Agent Ravage would be, and the G1 Ravage would be here. All of their accessories would be in here. But yeah, as you can see in the back, there's all this nice detail, and there's also a little cassette slot here, and it says the name there: Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy, Generations. It just says all of the like the bio or whatever. If you want to read that, there you go. And then on the back, just has a very lovely piece of artwork of Covert Agent Ravage either turning into the cassette or popping out, I'm assuming. And yeah, that transition looks really nice. And on on this other side here, you can see just that artwork, same piece from here, just in a different backdrop. And then on the bottom, there's nothing except for this little logo, and on top, there's some more nice artwork there. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. So we'll just set this off to the side, and we'll take a look at the figures themselves. We'll take a look at the G1 Ravage first. So here he is, and of course, just like the G1 designs, very simplistic. And you got these nice chrome bits, and the shins here, these gray shins, are actually metal, along with these shoulders here. Those are also metal. Yeah, and these accessories here are removable. We'll remove those for transformation later. But yeah, the articulation on this guy, he's got knee joints here and at the hips. And then he's got toe articulation, and each leg is separate so you can get into more dynamic poses. And then same with the front legs, they got a knee and a shoulder and a paw pivot, not foot. And they're also individual so you can get more dynamic poses. The head can just go up and down, and the tail as well can just go up and down, mainly for transformation, but it works nonetheless. A comparison with another Ravage cassette tape that I have, if I can just get him to stand. It's quite difficult to get him to stand if he has any dynamicness. This is the comparison with the War for Cybertron Siege Ravage. I do have the Earthrise one, I just don't have it out right now. So, but these are those together, and of course, he's much smaller to fit with the smaller designs of Netflix Soundwave. So there you go. That's them together. And just bringing back in Agent Ravage, we will now take a look at him. So let's bring the camera back up. And here's Agent Ravage. He's missing the metal with his shoulders and his thighs, but I think that's nicely substituted with this very shiny gray plastic. I'm not sure if it's painted or not. I think it's just plastic, which is cool. He's got these guns here that are also, these are painted, molded black, and is painted at the tip with silver. Really nice paintwork, I'd say. There you go. Now these two don't really have any other accessories except for their guns, but articulation for this guy, his head can move from left to right about that far, can move up embarrassingly that far, and can't move down. So you get about that much, and his jaw can open, revealing some nicely painted teeth in there and a bottom of the mouth, which I think is cool. Just closing this back up, it's quite tight. So, and then moving down, he's got about that far out, about that far up, and if you move the arms and the tail kind of out of the way, you can move it about that far back. So also quite embarrassing, if I do say so myself. And then he's got a thigh rotation, or more at the knee, but there you go, and has less than 90 degrees there for the knee joint. His foot can move forward and back about that much. Well, it can move further, but then this would pop out. It's got a nice, really nice pivot there at the foot. You can get quite far out, so that's nice. I'd say that almost makes up for the lack of backwards movement there for the leg. And then it's also got a waist rotation, which is quite nice. And the shoulders move all the way up. You can go back about that far. You can go forward about that far. Got a double hinge joint at the elbow, so if he didn't have his gun in his hand, he would be able to go all the way and, well, back that far. That looks wrong. And then it's got a nice wrist rotation, and just putting his gun back in his hand. Oh yeah, and I did show this earlier, but his tail can go about that far back, about that far forward. Quite nice articulation. Seems how most Transformers usually don't have tails, so yeah. That's about it for Agent Ravage's articulation for robot mode. Now bringing them back together, the comparison. I did a comparison with him already. Here's Agent Ravage next to Megatron. So those two next to each other. I think the scale is really nice here. Megatron is quite large, and that does show in this comparison. So, yeah. One last comparison that I want to do is with Cheetor, because there's some engineering that they took from this guy and applied it to this guy. Not as much as you'd think, but they still did take a few elements. I mean, he is also taller, so yeah, so that's those two next to each other. And now let's get to the transformation. And first we'll start off with the G1 Ravage. So first you're just going to take out the missiles, like so. Just set those off to the side. And then you're just going to flip up the head, flip up the tail, and then take these and just point the toes forward. Take these, point the feet forward, or the paws forward, and then just bend these under here, and the paws will just sit in that little spot there, and just push these up, and it's as simple as that, and you got them transformed. Now we will do Agent Ravage. So first you're just going to remove his guns. He's going to remove the guns, set those off to the side, and now we're going to start his transformation. So first you're just going to want to align the hands with the back of the forearms to create all that fur. And then you're just going to rotate these to the side and tab these in. Rotate to the side, tab it in. Oh, that's one part of articulation I forgot to mention. And then you're just going to take these shoulders here and just pry them apart from the back here. And then take the arms here and fold them in, just like so on both sides. Then you're just going to take this head and just bring this plate out. Take these panther arms and just bring them out to the sides. Then you're just going to take this and push this until the arms show up at the back, and they will just fill in those holes there. I'm just going to set that downwards and just bring the head up. Bring the shoulders forward. Just align the feet, or the paws. I don't know why I keep calling them feet. Take the actual feet and fold them back in there, just like Cheetor's, and just bring the whole leg back. Bring this down. Do the same for this side. Bring this back in, bring out, fold this in, and just make sure those are aligned properly. Bring the tail down, and there is Covert Agent Ravage in his Panther mode. And there is Generation 1 Ravage in his cassette tape mode. Now, weapon storage for these guys, with Agent Ravage, on the thighs here, there are these just slots here that these tabs can go into. right there, and right there, which is, I think, more of an homage to the G1 Ravage, where his guns are always on his hips, although when you point them forward like G1 Ravage's guns, he kind of has a hunchback, so just bring them down a little bit. I think it looks better like this. And actually, I think it fills out some silver part, because I feel like there's too much silver part there. So when you have those attached, then it fills that out a little bit, but then there's more there. Personally, I just like them to sit off to the side when I have them in Panther mode. For G1 Ravage, though, I mean, you can just put these back in the holes, but I don't think that looks the best, so as well, I just set them off to the side. Now, articulation, this guy obviously has nothing, but he's got ball joints at the shoulders, so they can go out that far and go 360. Can go about back that far, which I guess that's how a normal knee works, but it just looks weird. And then can go forward astonishingly that far. Ball joint at the paw, so can get a little bit of tilt, and then goes back and forth about that much. It's pretty good. And then back here at the hips is basically the same as robot mode. You can go out that far, which looks really weird. You can go back not any bit and go forward like that, but the actual hip of the Panther can go forward and backwards about that. And it is just the knee of the robot mode. So now the actual knee can go forward, well, as far as you want it to, and then backwards just that far. And the paw is the same as the front paw, about that much, and has a little bit of rock. And the tail, same amount, goes up and down about that much. The head actually has more left to right, well, has more up and down. I don't know about left and right, but you can go left and right about that far, which is actually pretty good, and goes up and down about that far, which also, again, very good. And you can open the mouth, just like you could in the robot mode. It is just the robot mode head, so yeah, overall, pretty good. For some comparisons, first I'll do it with him. Here he is next to the War For Cybertron Siege Ravage. Actually, here he is with the Earthrise one. I only do this because they're more accurate paint jobs. I think they look really cool next to each other, actually. Although there's no holes in this one. Here he is with the G1 Buzzsaw. This isn't Laserbeak, it's got the gold, sadly. Because this is the one that came with the G1 reissue Soundwave. But I think they look great next to each other. There's considerably more stickers on this one, though. And the last comparison I want to do it with is the actual G1, well, reissued Soundwave. Mainly just putting it in here, closing that up. That is a really nice fit for anyone who has this G1 Soundwave. Yeah, it looks awesome. They look really nice next to each other. Now we will do it with Covert Agent Ravage. Here he is next to the treacherous Megatron, which, if you thought Megatron towered over Ravage in robot mode, well, here they are in animal mode. Megatron is huge. And here he is next to Cheetor, which actually, the two next to each other, I'd say are almost identical in size, even though this guy does have more plastic. Actually quite interesting. And I'm sure Shadow Panther would look almost identical to this guy. That's why I'm never getting him, because it's just this mold black, whereas I have this guy who's a different mold, but looks almost exactly the same. So yeah, those are those two next to each other. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please leave a like and a comment, and definitely think about subscribing. It would help me out a lot. I'm close to 400, so I'll do something special for 400. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next review. See ya!